This is a short guidance video on how to present calculations in Exam4. If you haven't yet watched either of the videos that take you through launching Exam4 or using Exam4 to type your answers, please stop and go back and watch these first. When doing calculation questions, the best way to become familiar with how to use Exam4 is to download it well in advance of your exam and practice using one of the sample papers. Let's start by demonstrating how simple it is to set up a 3-column TATS calculation. To save time, I've entered the information for a couple of lines already. Now, all I'm doing is tabbing across to enter a new pound sign. And again, I can type in on the left-hand side my description of the income and then put in the amount I want. Again, the best way is to download and practice to become familiar with the other features available. For example, Control U to underline here. Again, I could have used the format section up here, and then it will still be on there. So just Control U to get rid of it, and then Control B to again make it bold, and I can enter some totals. Again, I can use the tab button here, and I can enter my totals. Now it doesn't always line up perfectly and the odd space is out. That isn't important. It's not about your answer looking absolutely perfect, but rather it being sensibly laid out with good presentation like it is in this example, so that your answer is clear to the marker. If it doesn't align by the odd space, that isn't a problem. But the best thing to do is to practice so you can see what minor adjustments you have to make using a space bar or a delete button. It may be you find you don't like using the tab button and you prefer to just use the space bar to organise your calculations. That isn't a problem. It of course comes down to individual candidate preferences. And to find this out, again, you should practice well in advance of your exam. Now, please don't go more than about 3/4 of the way across the page, so ending your calculations about here. This is to give the best presentation for the marker. So as you can see, it's about halfway between the end of the question divider and the end of the page. Now, this isn't an issue if you are typing answers. You can carry on typing to the end of the line. So it's not a problem for typing, but for calculations, again, for best practice, please don't go past about 3/4 of the page here. If you need to save space, you can also always use common shortenings, for example, int, and you could use divs, for example, instead of dividends. Sorry, divs like that. Now again, if you ever want to show a working, for example, show how you've grossed up the interest here, equals 2000. And again, it's best to do it on a separate working rather than on the same line as your calculation to save space. Again, similarly, if you wanted to make a note about your dividends for whatever reason, the dividend it is best to do that again, just make a separate notes and separate workings. Again, for shortenings, you could always use PA instead of personal allowance. As you can see, Exam4 is very simple to use. You do not need Excel nor tables to be able to present calculations in your answers. We hope you found this video useful and good luck for your exam.